Hi guys, old dude here with my first video in the vaping series. Today we're looking at vaping coils. There are a lot of really cool builds out there that I'm sure everybody has seen. I've been trying some variants on single wire and Clapton style and slotted Claptons and this, that, and the other thing. But last night I built a pair of dual stovetop coils, which was pretty cool. And the way they had them wicked was they were oriented vertically with the cotton in between the posts and the back side of the stovetop coil plate. And it chucked vapor really well, and it shot it out the sides, which looked really cool too. But the problem with it was that it didn't seem to be effectively using the e-juice in the wick. And so it seemed like I was going through a lot more juice and doing a lot less vaping. So I thought maybe this could be made a lot more efficient. And then not only that, it seemed like it was burning, giving me that burnt cotton taste quite often. You'd have to drip essentially every other pull, and with standard round coil wraps, I can get 7 or 8 pulls before I really have to re-drip. Especially, with a 3 or a 4 or a 5 millimeter reservoir. So anyway, what I've decided to do is reconfigure these coils, completely redo the way they're oriented. And maybe somebody has done this. I haven't seen any videos on it. I had to figure it out myself. And I'm thinking about actually elaborating on the wire and creating an over-the-top loop as well. But this is what I've got. And I started wicking it and said, well, before I get any further, I should probably show them what process I'm using for that. So here's the stovetop coils. If we can get the camera to focus for me. Any day. There we go, there's stovetop. And so I've rolled them down so that they're oriented flat. Come on, phone, really? And because, if this is sort of inverted from what's on your stove, but, if you put a pan on the plate, then it heats the stuff in the pan. So having that standing up vertically and the more effective side of the heating surface is facing away from the cotton, it just didn't seem to make sense to me. So what I'm doing is I am coming in from the opposite side. Usually people feed it in from the left, but because the 2 posts here are on the right, I fed it in from the right. And the reason why is because everybody says you got to cover up this negative lead here with your cotton. But I'm going to kind of incorporate a couple of other things that I've seen in to this build, kind of like the dragon wick or whatever, and see if we can come up with something that's super effective and efficient as well. There we go. So I pulled that up and over the negative lead, and now we're going to feed this same piece. This was a piece from my last build that was still barely used, so I'm reusing it. That's why it's all juicy. Hope you guys can see this. Alright, so all I've really done is lay these coils down, and I'm sort of pressing them onto the wick so as to to force it to burn down in that area. To me, makes sense in assuming that that's where all your juice kind of coagulates when it flows down there. So why would you want to have, you know, all that juice down in the bottom and then your coil is suspended way high up above them where they can't really do any effective work? And this is why I decided I was going to completely redo this and re-wick it as well and see if I can get something that I like more. And now I'm kind of just trying to make it look a little more like the other side. I think I'm going to need just a little bit more cotton right there in that pocket, because I don't want it to go dry. I'll be honest with you folks, a few minutes ago when I was messing with it, I was trying to get some of the juice out of the cotton before I took the device apart, hating, you know, wasting e-juice. And it turned into a fireball. So no, something is definitely wrong with the way that build is wicked and works. I mean, yeah, you know, when you look at the wicking and the build and watch the vape come out, and it's like watching a dragon snort smoke out of both nostrils. It's really cool looking, but I found that cool looking isn't necessarily functional all the time. We're going to put some Lucky 7 Casino Clouds drip juice. It's a cotton candy flavored juice, but the cotton candy is so good and so light that you don't really perceive the flavor as being a cotton candy. It's almost more like a candy and cream. It's really good. I highly recommend it. This one's called Casino Clouds. Alright, well, let's see how much juice it'll splatter all over the camera lens here. We're going to give it a fire. Let me check my ohms. Okay, it was at 19, now it's back to 0.18 ohm. We're going to run it at 80 watts. And it fires up fast just like it did before. But now it looks like we may not get toasted cotton on longer pulls. Okay, that was a 3-second pull, and I wasn't able to do that before on the second hit. Let's go for a third. Starting to perceive just a little tiny bit of cook. Now, one thing I will warn you about with these stovetop coils is that they red hot real fast, especially when it's primed. Once it cools down, it takes it, you know, a split second to start firing. When it's hot, man, as soon as you hit that button, it's vaping. Alright, we got no fireball, and the cotton looks drier than it did when I started this experiment.